Greetings of peace and prosperity. A good day to each and everyone. I am here today to discuss to you something new about our education. Before anything else, I would like to introduce myself. I am Julian Pearl Ortega Agipo, a third-year Bachelor of Elementary Education student. I am tasked to discuss to you multicultural education. So what is multicultural education? Definition: a system of instructions that attempts to foster cultural pluralism and acknowledge learners' differences. It draws insights from multiple fields and reinterprets content related to academic disciplines. It is an idea, an educational reform movement, and a process. It is also a set of educational strategies developed to provide knowledge about contributions of diverse groups. So what is the objectives of this multicultural education? 1. To give meaning and definition of what is multicultural education. 2. Identify its theories that upholds in promoting inclusive education. And 3. To practice respect among the members of the society that is diverse to one another. The ultimate goal for teaching and learning multicultural education are: 1. Ensure unity via diversity, not through assimilation. Number 2, ensure educational equality and equity. Number 3, confirm fairness and reciprocity. And number 4, confirm tolerance and peaceful coexistence and promote positivism. These goals is allowing every learners with different perspectives, different races, different cultures to be at one inclusive education and allowing them to grow to whoever they want to be and accepting who they are at the same time. It is allowing the learners to have their own beliefs on cultural traditions and also own ways of teaching and learning, but through the guidance of each teachers or facilitators of learning. It is allowing them to develop, to foster, and also to enhance their capabilities with acceptance, encouragement, and also recognition and appreciation from each and everyone that allows them to be more positive and more optimist about what they're going to do with their own educational processes. So what is the characteristics of multicultural education? Multicultural education is anti-racist education. It does not choose who they want to treat well. Because in America, it happens to people used to treat better American people rather than Black Americans. So in this multicultural education, it allows the students, whatever race they are, to be who they are inside the classroom without being considerating of their culture or even their skin color. Multicultural education is a basic education. It is not difficult, it is understandable, and also it is safe and direct to whatever kind of level of the learners are being presented with this. Multicultural education is important for inclusive education since differences of the students or the learners are being intact with one another and accepting the facts that they are not equally the same to each other. It will fall into the idea of inclusive education, which it allows and accepts the differences and diverse learners in order for them to grow in just one place, but in different ways and different stages of development. As what our teacher said, development does not happen uniformly. So, next is multicultural education is for social justice. It does not allow any discrimination or even bullying inside the classroom. It gives social justice in order for them to feel that they belong to social groups and their races does not affect their value as a person in the society. Last is multicultural education is critical pedagogy. What are the four philosophical framework of multicultural education? Number 1, acceptance and appreciation of cultural diversity. As what I have said, acceptance and appreciation that comes together will allow the students and learners and the facilitator of learning to be able to learn in one specific place that is inclusive education, but in different ways, different platforms, different stages, and different development. It allows them to be to feel belonged. They it will allow the students to feel that they are accepted, their difference is valid, their races is not a hindrance for them to be accepted by the society. Framework number two, respect for human dignity and universal human rights. Since discrimination and bullying is not allowed for this multicultural education, it will allow the students to have a friendly environment for them to develop and learn basic education. That is why we are accepting races, and also there we are teaching the students that differences do happens, it exists, and it is possible. That's why it is important for us to be more considerate about what and whoever the person next to us is being gifted of. Number three is responsibility to the world community. Since people are now considerate about the differences of the people by each another, it can allow them to foster, to become a better person that allows them to be responsible, to give them the confidence to contribute or even to participate in community services that will help the community and the society and the world as a bigger platform. And lastly, respect for Earth. What does this mean? Respect for so number four is respect for the earth. This is allowing unity between people to people, nation to nation, races to races, without having boundaries with one another. Acceptance and appreciation will allow them to be interconnected with one another. So, what are the pros and cons of multicultural education? Proponents of multicultural education argue that multicultural education is a strategic ideology in a border movement towards social transformation and emphasizes social equity through continuously challenging simulation or various form of domination. As what I have exampled earlier, the domination of white Americans to black Americans are slowly fading away because of this multicultural education that teaches people that differences do exist. It is about acceptance and appreciation of their races, contributions, and practices that allows them to be more equipped, to be more responsible, and to be more productive um, citizen of the nation that is somehow helping one another to live in a peaceful and productive world. It emphasizes social equality through continuously challenging assimilation. It does not only happen but by accepting and understanding the culture and traditions or the ideas of their races, but it is about accepting the fact that their differences and your differences matters. But in some ways, it will be emerged to create a powerful combinations that will help each one of us to be certain about ourselves also, and also to allow other people to go around and explore learning capabilities. But in contrast, opponents of multicultural education contend that it erodes the idea of ethnic homogeneity and divides a nation. Um, the proponents or the anti-multicultural education detailed that because of this acceptance and freedom, it um, it erodes or erases the idea of ethnic homonology, which is actually happens somewhere in our society, because since there is adjustment, there is also changes that is happening. This is why proponents suggested that it is something like it erodes the idea and divides the nation because it allows people to understand but also to create changes. They uphold a similarist view on holding issues of diversity. And now I'm going to discuss the youthful theories of multicultural education. First theory, conservative multiculturalism. Conservatives believe that schools should help all students develop skills, attitudes, and knowledge needed to participate in a national or shared culture. Since schools are meant to teach mainly science and language, emphasizing issues of multicultural education diverts attention from the most important subject. They further claim that ethnic groups want their children to learn ethnic cultures and languages. They should be taught by the groups themselves and not by the public schools. This means that conservative culturalism allows to preserve cultural idealism that culture must be passed through generation by their ancestors, not through public or formal education. It is their tradition that a tribe will teach their rules, their traditions, and culture to their um, youths by themselves, and it should not be taught in a public schools because at some point it will be misinterpreted, mis explained, or somehow um, um, be introduced differently than what is expected or what is traditionally um, inputs of our ancestors. So number two, liberal culturalism. It recognizes the existence of inequality in the country, but claims that inequality emanates not for cultural deprivation of the minority groups, but the absence of social and educational opportunities. Number two, it emphasizes the need of diversity and cultural pluralism, as well as the acceptance and celebration of differences. Instead of identifying the root causes of inequality and thereby performing them, liberal multiculturalists primarily emphasize that humanist approach where acceptance, tolerance, and mutual understanding are exercised. In this kind of theory, it emphasizes that there is an equality throughout the country, but it does not emits a cultural deprivation, but um, it is something like the absence of social and educational opportunities. It allow, for example, here in our locality, manubos are not accepted to offices because we know that they are just manubo. It is our mindset that they are just manubo. They're only good at farms. They're only good in their gardening. They're only good in something like native products. And that is why even though we know that there is an equality towards nations and differences towards everyone, it allows to have the absence of social and educational opportunities because there is boundaries that they are just what they are. Do we accept the differences? Do we accept the diverse cultural traditions? Do we accept that they are different to ours? However, it inputs that this kind of multiculturalism is that it does not give an equal opportunity to the people with a different race or different something like social, what do you call this, social stage. We give a little we only look at them like they're just who they are. It's just them. They can do nothing but what they already doing for years. It does not give equal opportunities. That is the reason why manubos are really not encouraged to go to schools because there are discriminations happened because they are just manubo, they cannot read. They are just manubo, they cannot write. They're only good at gardening. That is our mindset that we should need to eradicate in order for us to tell ourselves that we really do accept their differences. That is the emphasis of this the second theory, which is the liberal culturalism. Now, the third one is critical multiculturalism. It is combined of issues of cultural diversity and the incapacity nature of critical education practices, which are taken from critical theories and feminism. The essence of critical multiculturalism is therefore compatible with transformative pedagogy, which intends to help students raise critical questions about the social, cultural, political, and economic conditions that significantly affect their lives and their community. It claims that the issues of educational equity and excellence can be addressed through raising critical as well as transformative questions. In this critical multiculturalism, it, it encourages the students to learn beyond what is in the book. Ask questions that is helpful for them to be more of themselves, to be more efficient to their society. We only, in this kind of theories, multiculturalism's um, defense that we should be excellent in addressing critical questions that are transformative in the ways of how we live. This is how, or this is telling us that it is something to be more than what we should read. There is something more to what is inside the alphabetical letters. There is something more about reading literatures. There is something more. That's why we are learning to write. This is what multiculturalism promotes. So that ends my presentation. I would like to leave you with this quotation. We need to help the children and the parents to preserve the ethnic and cultural diversity that nourished and strengthens this community and the nation by Cesar Chavez. I hope everyone is having a good time listening to my discussion. If you have questions, queries, and something questionable mindset are ongoing in your minds, please comment down below and I will answer it directly. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for your comprehension. Thank you for your time. And I am glad that you are here with me this day. I am Julian Perler Tagagi po, and that ends my presentation.